Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Thanks as always for stopping by. Let me start with the big set piece event, which is tomorrow, which is OPEC. This is a photograph that Javier Blas posted, and that took me back to a piece I wrote on the 8th of May 2017, when I said it's a Wizard of Oz moment, folks. There is no one behind the curtain. And essentially, US crude futures have rallied very sharply into this meeting. We're now trading at $51.75 on NYMEX. That settled at $51.47. So it's been a very strong rebound. But I still think it's a Wizard of Oz moment. The market is going to listen and then think to itself, well, what difference does any of that make? And I think we're going to see a sharp fall, and that the market is actually primed to crash, in my view. China was big news, cut to A1 from AA3 by Moody's. Outlook was kept at stable. The downgrade reflects Moody's expectation that China's financial strength will erode somewhat over the coming years, with economy-wide debt continuing to rise as potential growth slows. The ratings agency said in a statement, changing its outlook for China to stable from negative. China's finance ministry said the downgrade, Moody's first for the country since 1989, overestimated the risks to the economy and was based on inappropriate methodology. Imagine a lot of folks are stuck inside that kind of justification. Australian dollar fell after China's debt rating downgrade. It jolted investors. It's now trading at 0.7465. It's recovered some, but it was below 74.50 not too long ago. Bitcoin surge is driven by people leaving riskier digital currencies. Say Bitcoin's executives. A lot of the volume into Bitcoin right now is actually not dollar or yen or euro into Bitcoin, but is rather alt digital assets, said Peter Smith, co-founder and CEO of digital asset software platform Blockchain, at an industry conference Tuesday that brought in 2,700 people on the first day. People do view a lot of these newer assets as more risky, so when they make big gains there, they're selling down those gains and rotating into Bitcoin. Numerous alternative cryptocurrencies or altcoins such as Ripple have emerged since Bitcoin broke into public consciousness in 2013. Companies can sell new tokens through initial coin offerings or ICOs, while the cost of one Bitcoin has skyrocketed to more than $2,000 from just 8 US cents in 2010. And at the beginning of the year, I said my optimal portfolio would be long Bitcoin and short, a long Bitcoin outright. And you've seen a remarkable rally. It's hit the $2,300 mark, it's more than doubled. And then long Bitcoin, short gold on spread. Home thoughts, I like this tweet from Richard Branson quoting Diana Ross. I'll let you read it. And then I found a series of photographs around the moon. Neil Armstrong's footprint on the moon, left by the astronaut on lunar soil during the Apollo 11 lunar mission. I like this, the far side of the moon, 1959, captured by the Luna 3 spacecraft. And then first steps on the moon, 1969, American astronaut Edwin Buzz Aldrin walking on the moon on July 20, 1969. For some reason, the moon has always captured my imagination. Particularly love the full moon here in Africa. Political reflections, UK terrorist threat level raised from severe to critical. Another attack may be imminent, said Prime Minister Theresa May. It's just outrageous. The man suspected of carrying out Britain's deadliest bombing in nearly 12 years was named as Salman Abedi, aged 22. US security sources, citing British intelligence officials, said he was born in Manchester in 1994 of Libyan origin. He is believed to have travelled by train from London before the attack, they said. Our priority, along with the police counter-terrorism network and our security partners, is to continue to establish whether he was acting alone or working as part of a wider network, Manchester Police Chief Constable Ian Hopkins has said. And it takes me back to an article I wrote after that attack in Boston by those brothers Saneev. And I said then, put it in a different way, there are surely many brothers Saneev in this new 21st century of ours. And, I think this chap is a very similar example. And it's very interesting that most of these folks have been living in the West, and it's a sort of disillusionment with the society that leads them to these terrible acts. If any justification can be laid at their door, which it can't. Flags at number 10 Downing Street fly at half-staff this morning after the terror attack in Manchester. And then two things caught my attention. Sky News 8-year-old Safi Rose Roussos from Leyland was killed in the Manchester attack. May her soul rest in peace. And then R.I.P. my darling, precious, gorgeous girl. Olivia Campbell, 15, was among the dead in Manchester. Mom says on Facebook. Just terrible. Girls. This pic sums it up. What a city. Manchester. This is from Ben Hume. So really very tragic. And again, I must give credit to Theresa May. I think she handles these situations extremely well. They're not easy to manage. Modi's idea of India by Pankaj Mishra, Bloomberg View. He hasn't thought highly of him from the very beginning. In some cases, quite frankly, 3 years after he was elected Prime Minister, Narendra Modi looms over India's political scene like no other leader in the country's recent history. His critics must explain why his mass appeal seems unimpaired despite his increasingly authoritarian ways and growing failures. Modi is far from realizing his promises of economic and military security. Pakistan-backed militants continue to strike inside Indian territory. The anti-Indian insurgency in Kashmir has acquired a mass base. Maoist insurgents in central India attack security forces with impunity. Industrial growth crucial to creating jobs for the nearly 13 million Indians entering the workforce each year is down, at least partly due to Modi's policy of demonetization. That gambit was, as the economist Kaushik Basu writes, a monetary policy blunder, which achieved next to nothing, inflicted a large cost on the poor and the informal sector. Yet Modi's BJP party subsequently swept elections in Uttar Pradesh, India's politically most significant state. He looks almost certain to be re-elected as Prime Minister in 2019. Many commentators assume that once in office, Modi would downplay his ideological commitment to remaking India into a Hindu nation for the sake of economic development. Today, Modi seems to mock such aspiring fellow travellers, choosing a virulently anti-Muslim Hindu priest as Uttar Pradesh's chief minister, and maintaining an eloquent silence as Hindu vigilantes aiming to protect the sacred cow, lynch anyone suspected of selling or eating beef. Ascendant in both new and old media, Twitter as well as radio, television and the press, Modi is moving India away from debate, consensus building and other democratic rituals. He is presiding over what Mukul Kasayan, the sharp observer of Indian politics and culture, calls an infantilization of Indians. Instead of being proud, equal adult members of a republic, they are reduced to being the wards of an all-seeing parent. Modi is trying to construct the kind of developmental state seen in East Asia. The American writer Chalmers Johnson, who I must read actually, used this term to define the style of governance pioneered by Japan during its quest for rapid economic development. Modi's own reverential references to the Japanese capacity for self-sacrifice is the cause of national power, reveal that he aims for the particular kind of legitimacy that comes from devotion to a widely believed in revolutionary project. The devastating flaw in Modi's project is this: he's trying to build a homogeneous national community in an irrevocably diverse country. It commits him and his party to demonizing, excluding, and alienating too many members of the Indian population. That's a fair point. His borrowed projects, smart cities, make in India, reveal Modi's own idea of India to be outmoded and unviable. The jobs awaited by millions of Indians are unlikely to materialize as manufacturing industries in India struggle with the radical changes wrought by automation. As their great leader fails, inevitably Modi's supporters are likely to intensify their hunt for scapegoats. The next few years, it is safe to say, will be the most treacherous yet for India. Pretty hard-hitting. I wanted to ask, what about the Indian rupee and the Bombay Sensex, which have done rather well and have entirely bought into the Modi economy? It's a special report on Reuters: as Modi and his Hindu base rise, so too does yoga tycoon Baba Ramdev. If Kushner has a Mideast peace plan, it's a secret so far, says Reuters. He's giving little away. In the 4 months since President Donald Trump took office and gave his 36-year-old son-in-law the job of forging peace between Israel and the Palestinians, Kushner has kept his plans under wraps for a conflict that is nearly twice as old as he is. The assignment would pose daunting challenges for the most seasoned diplomat, much less a novice. Peace talks have been stalled for years, most recently breaking down in 2014, following disagreements over Israeli settlement building and a Palestinian move to reconcile with the Islamist group Abbas. By making the Arab-Israeli conflict the centerpiece of his first trip abroad and putting such a high-profile figure in charge of it, Trump has jumped headlong in without the usual caution and discretion shown by his predecessors. And indeed that's true, and I took me back to Baldrick's cunning plan. If you've never seen that clip, do take a look. It strikes me Kushner's in a similar situation. Trump said, "I pledged the words, never again." Met with Abbas in Bethlehem, but progress on peace remained elusive. And then in a very interesting article in the LA Review of Books, in the media environment we inhabit, pathological narcissism is an effective strategy. Donald Trump is the most powerful man on earth and the world's foremost celebrity. The difference is increasingly negligible. Power and celebrity are becoming one and the same. If Kanye West were to declare his candidacy for the Democratic presidential nomination in 2020, no one could stop him. Not the press, not the party functionaries, not even Saturday Night Live. Trump is not a creature of ideology or of party. He doesn't have any strongly held beliefs or partisan loyalties. He has never belonged to any apparatus of the state. He's not even a lawyer. His campaign and his presidency alike have been pure entertainment. Donald Trump is the President of the United States because he plays the President of the United States on television. Then Trump as an administrator is pure chaos. As an entertainer, could not have been more basic. He employs the crudest formulae available, sometimes nakedly, bringing two candidates for an empty Supreme Court seat to Washington, announcing his pick in prime time, just like on The Apprentice. Reality television has always thrived, or triumphed, on reality TV for at least a decade. In the media environment we inhabit, pathological narcissism is an effective strategy. I think that's a fair point. Bahraini forces killed 5, arrested 286 in a raid on the hometown of Shiite Sheikh Issa Qasim. And I think President Trump's given this kind of thing some encouragement. Al-Awamiyah, city under siege, city of resistance in Saudi Arabia. Not many people will know that. Pope Francis has adopted a wait-and-see attitude on the eve of his encounter with President Trump. Here's a photograph of President Trump meeting Pope Francis. Here's a shot of the First Lady, the President and Pontifex at the Vatican, Note she is wearing a veil, and then, of course, a photograph from her meeting the King of Saudi Arabia where she didn't. Brennan, Intel showed contacts and interactions between Russians and people involved in the Trump campaign. Intel required FBI investigation. And I wrote over the weekend, one suspects after a torrid week, President Trump could not leave Washington fast enough. Currency markets, well, let's take a look. Euro dollar 111.84, dollar index 97.39, Japanese yen 111.85. The Swiss franc 0.9757, the pound, where is that? 129.74. The Australian dollar getting a bit of a lift, 0.7464 after selling off on the China news. Indian rupee 64.385, South Korean won 11.2588. The Rial 327.01, Egyptian pound 18.1002. South African rand very strong at 13 on rumours that Zuma is on his way out. I don't think it's going to happen that fast. Dollar index, let me show you a 1-year chart. The price is tilted towards 93.50. Euro versus the dollar, we're at 111.87. My target is now 114.50. Germany marches ahead, business confidence keeps rising, IFO index now at record high, in tandem with benchmark DAX index, which is near a record as well. Commodity markets, let's take a look at gold, that's at 1252.13. Sugar is the worst performing commodity, down 16% so far this year. Food price increases, as we've discovered here in Kenya and we've seen all over the world, have a big outsized positive negative well-being effect, and Kenya's currently wrestling with that situation. Oman's 2 billion Islamic bond sale lured orders for more than 3 times the issue size, so that's good news. Tunisia, a protester was killed as violence escalates, not a good sign. You'll remember that was where it all kicked off. Everyone's fault but Zuma's, says the Africa Confidential. The beleaguered president believes that the best defense is attack as he blames white businesses and the West for his woes. In December 2015, I wrote, look, the markets are not interested in his explanations. They are seeing a South African president who has gone rogue. The RAND advanced on reports that ANC members plan to discuss removing President Jacob Zuma and drag their RAND all the way up to 13. I got in a conversation with Alec Hogg, who was talking about the RAND rally, and I said, but President Zuma's a sticky fellow, don't you think? Alec responded, stakes very high. Zuma's departure will spark collapse of wide network of patronage, jail terms, operation, car wash, revisited. Dollar versus rand, as I said, 13. I don't think this is the denouement, the end game yet, so we've got to keep a close eye on things. Nigeria's slump continues as GDP contracts 0.5% in the first quarter. Continued its slump, contracted for a 5th consecutive quarter in the 3 months through March as oil output declined. Oil industry contracted 11.6% from a year earlier. IMF forecasts the economy will grow 0.8% this year, and the World Bank predicts an expansion of 1.2%. Nigerian all shares up 4.6% this year. The Ghana Stock Exchange Composite Index is up 13.73% this year. And if I'm not mistaken, it's probably the best performing stock market in Africa at the moment. Kenya current account deficit widened to 7.7% of GDP in February from 5.9% at the same time a year earlier. Treasury blamed a 5.6% fall in the value of exported goods and services. Combined with other unspecified income drops, the fall more than offset a 4.5% drop in imports. I like this photograph. Hell's Gate National Park is the perfect place for scenic landscapes. It's a remarkable place. Consumer goods manufacturer Bidco Africa has unveiled a growth plan to increase its local annual turnover from $400 million to $1 billion by 2021. Kenya shilling 103.30 last. Nairobi all share edged minus 0.04% lower yesterday, which is very marginal. It's up 5.57% year to date, and that is a 2017 November high actually. Kenya Airways eased 5 cents ahead of its earnings release later this week. Share data is there. KCB rallied 1.98% to a fresh year's high. It's up 33.91% year to date. Equity rallied 1.4%. That closed at a 2017 high. That's up 20% year to date. Kenyan is plus 22.4% year to date. The NSE 20 has closed at a 9-month high and is up 4.11% year to date. Thanks a lot for listening.